A sleek blue head popped up from the body. A curved gash in the head became a mouth. It turned up in a goofy grin. Two big, round eyes appeared above the mouth. The creature was about the size of a chipmunk. It made a squeaking sound as it bounced over the grass. Its rubbery body throbbed rapidly, like a heart. "It's so cute," Andy declared, raising her hands to the sides of her face. "It's like a lovable little blob creature. It looks friendly," Kermit added. "Keeps staring up at us and smiling." Evan didn't say a word. As he studied the creature, a heavy feeling of dread formed in the pit of his stomach. "I don't care how cute the little guy looks," he thought. "This is monster blood, and monster blood is always evil."
You can't scare me, not with the basement of what you need. Maybe a sentient dummy, calling all creeps.
Boo dudes, welcome to Calling All Creeps. As you might know, this is an episode and a podcast about Goosebumps. And I am your host, the wife from Up in the beginning when she dies. And I'm here with
Mufasa.
Mufasa from The Lion King. Two tragic figures.
Well, your husband's up in the clouds, and I became clouds.
Oh, you did become clouds. That was very nice. And you're James Earl Jones.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's another guy. Much like R.L. Stine, I'm afraid they'll both perish.
Oh, good start. Yeah,
You know?
People don't last forever.
Yeah.
R.L. Stine's one of those people that, like, once R.L. Stine dies, it's going to be everywhere, and we're going to hear about it, and we're going to get a million texts and calls and stuff.
Sure.
But, like, he's the kind of celebrity that you want to be like R.L. Stine, and someone would be like, "Oh, I heard he died." When? Like, yeah, like 6 years ago. Like, oh my God, I had no idea. Like, you want that. You want to, like, let it down easy.
Yeah.
You don't want it to be like, "Author created, Jack Black played him, dead today." 3 seconds ago on Twitter.
I want to go to his home, and I want an old lady to answer the door, and I want her to say, "R.L. Stine's been dead for 30 years." And it's just Jane, his wife.
We need to get on that article now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
R.L. Stine who?
R.L. Stine who?
That's weird. There was an old author named R.L. Bobstein who used to
Jovial
haunt
Bob.
this place back in the 1800s.
And then you and I walk in and we're like, "Did any of these fuckers ever pop out of the fucking wall?"
Jizz like a cum shot. We need to post that. If you guys have not watched So I Think You Should Leave, Season 2, Episode 2, the final sketch, as I sent it to Matt knowing he had already watched it, of course. It is our podcast in a small sketch.
Well, you made that connection. I didn't even think of that. You're absolutely right. It's like the spooky aesthetic, also like a thing that could be enjoyed just seriously. You know, people have podcasts about Goosebumps that are definitely more serious than ours, and they do a better job. But we show up and we're the fucking guy that you want to kick out.
And especially too that it's just kind of like, "Ooh, this is the dining room or the dying room," and everyone's like,
Yes.
"Ha, ha, ha, yeah, we're having fun."
Exactly.
Any of these fuckers fall out of the ceiling completely nude, and you see their big hairy nut. It's like
That's right.
It's a
good.
show.
It's good. Look, everybody knows. It's beloved. It's a beloved property.
It's great.
Dave, what's going on with you? You doing all right?
I'm fine. This book, I read it because I thought we were going to record earlier. And then at that point, I did the dumb thing where I was like, "Ooh, I shouldn't finish it then." So I'll finish it like right before the podcast. So
Right.
I was like, so the beginning may not be fresh, but at least like the ending will be fresh with me.
Yeah.
I checked and I had like 6 more pages. So the last 6 pages, man, I got them fresh. Everything before that, I'm going to rely on my notes, which most are like literally, here's 4 bullet points. Conan leaves, loses rats, electric fence, electric Conan, fight.
I love that. It's because they're loses rats rats is not even correct. They're mice.
I was tired, man. I was tired.
I love that. That's the kind of research we do. And I was telling Dave before the record that I read this hours ago. I read this today, and I remember like the structure, but I don't remember the details. So,
but a lot of these notes could make sick band names.
Yeah.
Like,
do them again. What's a good one?
Well, I'm just going to pick some out. Like, what about this one? Tarantula Prank?
Good. It's good.
That's a good band name.
It's good.
Sucks Puddles?
Sucks Puddles is good.
Yeah. Kill Them with the Electric Fence.
It's pretty metal.
Clones him and he gets meaner.
When I was in a band, we played a show with a band called Diarrhea Planet.
Yeah, they're a big band now. I think people
are they
know them.
still?
Yeah,
they
they're
still
actually.
Exist?
I think they still exist. Yeah, I mean they're not as good as Water Gun Fight, our new band from this, but
are they as good as Watch Goosebumps on Fox Kids Network?
that little Watch Goosebumps on Kids Fox Network on the front is a little fucker. You wanna know why?
Yeah, why?
Because dang asshole, look behind it. You see how that cabinet is open?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a goober guy, little googers up there, that Tim Jacobus drew, and they spanked the little Watch Goosebumps right over the front of it.
That's true. Yeah, it does interrupt the art. Although the art, this is a good segue to talk about the art. I don't like it, not because he didn't do a bad job, or he didn't do a good job, because he did. He always does. But I hate the way these things look.
Yeah, they all look like used condoms with like little eye stalks, but they do look like used condoms if they had like lips, they look like. They'd have like an old lady voice that's like, "Hello, honey."
Absolutely. Oh, fuck. It does look like shit. Yeah, it looks like I have some cartoon in my head that I forget what it's from, but it looks exactly like it.
Like the big heads from Rocko's Modern Life?
Yeah, they are big headish, or they're like Crumb-ish from Our Real Monsters. Is that the name of is it Crumb?
Yeah.
Or just like you said, just condoms, but like if you could get a condom that was like Miss Piggy themed and it had like lips and like it wore pearls. That's what these
It's like if you just fucked Gonzo's head and it got pregnant.
And melted.
This is like it's like what Gonzo's jizz looks like this.
Only Gonzos.com. I like this.
Can we get to the bottom of this? What does Gonzo
what?
mean in porn? What does Gonzo mean?
Oh, I don't know. Is that a thing?
Yeah, I've seen it before.
Okay. I'm going to do a little research. In the meantime, can you tell me what your favorite slug is on the cover?
I mean, it's gotta be the one that's sucking on the fucking faucet.
Absolutely, it does. Okay.
It's definitely that. But I don't know because I'll never figure out what the one behind the Fox Kids shit is. Actually, no, I forget. I can figure that out. Hold on.
There's the one sucking the shower head is the funniest by far because he's like a little fat balloon boy. Okay, are you ready for the Gonzo definition, Dave?
That's what my used condoms look like because I do so much jizz that it flows up. It fills all the way up.
Jesus Christ.
What?
That's a lot of cum, my man.
Oh, look. That's what the little guy looks like. It's like a shelf full of like shampoos and shit, and there's just one little guy peeking out. So, I mean,
wow.
I would have at least let him know, like, hey, you could just close the cabinet. You don't gotta do a fucking Pert Plus bottle. You don't do a L'Oreal No Tears shit.
Yeah, that would have been nice to know. He didn't have to draw that little goblin.
No.
If they were going to put a thing over it. Okay, Gonzo
Goblin all this jizz. Sorry.
Gonzo pornography is a style of pornographic film that attempts to place the viewer directly into the scene. Matthew Gangemi is considered to have started the gonzo pornography genre with his On the Prowl series of films. Ew. What a fucking gross, predatory name that is.
Yeah, that's awful. I figured it would be like the porn starts with just like all of a sudden it comes in the door and it's like, oh hey, what's up? We're just fucking over here. If you want to take a seat, there's some Sprites in the fridge, and then they just continue. And it's like, thank you. If you need me, my name will be Gonzo.
I pictured it was just Gonzo entering the scene and honking his little nose.
He would do some damage with that nose.
He would. That's a pipe.
You know why Gonzo's actually in like Jim Henson? Do you know why Gonzo's nose was curved that way?
For his pleasure, I guess.
I was gonna say so it could hit the G spot.
Hey, come on now. We know that stands for Gene now.
That stands for Gene, yes. Who, weirdly enough, just replied to my story on Instagram, literally as we were talking. Can you see what it says?
Wow. It says mommy milkers.
Yes, it does.
I mean, what else do you need to know?
Literally, the second we're recording, he decides to send me mommy milkers. Yeah,
it's weird. It's a little like creepy. Is my connection okay? Are you okay? Is there any lag time?
There's a little, but like I'm loving it. Lag time, like it's a good old ragtime. Like we're vibing. We're playing this sort of dueling banjos, and I love it.
All right, good. Okay, I just switched to my Wi-Fi. We'll see if that's any better. I'll alternate
my
between
wife.
Wi-Fi. My Xfinity. Okay. Well, it was supposed to be our last episode, Dave. We have a lot to get through, which means we're going to do one more after this. I'll just drop the little bomb right now.
Yeah, we dropped a tiny bomb.
Yeah.
Just a little bomb.
Yep.
Yeah, there's going to be one more. We got to wrap it up.
Yeah.
In like a nice little bow. And like, if we are going to do one last episode, let's do one where we don't have to work a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're going to put it on you guys.
Yeah, we're going to... next one's going to be pretty cash, but we have some loose ends to tie up. We want to kill a bunch of you guys who have rated and reviewed us or shouted us out on social media. I will say, if you have shouted out to me on my personal social media accounts or on our Calling All Creeps social media accounts, there's so much going on there. If you guys would just send another message to us, preferably on the Calling All Creeps sites. Instagram's what we use the most. Let us know that you want to be killed. We will do that shit. And also, of course, if you left a review on iTunes, we will also kill you. And there's a bunch of you, so we're going to split it up between this time and next time. And we've mentioned this before, but we'd like to know, we're going to put up on our Instagram a little call for questions. And you guys can ask whatever you want before we leave you. And, of course, we'll never leave you. We'll always be in your hearts. And what was the other thing, Dave? I guess that's it. And we're going to talk about, talk about our faves, the stars, and the flops.
Yeah. The shittiest of the shit.
That's
and
right.
The top shining spectacles of the shit.
Yeah, that's right. The spectacles of the shit, as they say, the odds and the sods. UK listeners, we see you.
Yeah, so we got some more stuff coming, and just stick to our Instagram. We'll, of course, even if you don't listen to this by then, we know people are still catching up. You know, we'll put it there so you could be part of this, regardless.
Beautiful.
First, let's talk about this time and place.
Okay.
Because this is the final time.
Okay.
The final place will have to be.
December? Is it December?
It is.
Yes.
It's a long December.
Yeah. Maybe this time will be better than the last, right? Something like that.
Yeah. I don't remember what last book it was, so who the fuck knows? But it's December of 1997.
Yes. Ooh. My 10-year-old Christmas. I wonder what I got. What did you get, Dave? Do you remember?
Funny you would ask that.
Ooh,
'Cause
baby.
I have the list of top holiday gifts. And I know what I got, so I'm going to put that at the bottom. But I'm going to go down the list, and you're going to say, you're going to let me know if you got the top gifts. Ready?
Okay.
Number 1, Tamagotchi.
Yes. Well, not for Christmas, but I did get it. Yes.
I had a Nano Pet. I had the boot. Like I never got name brand on that. So.
Yeah. You never, even just on your own, got a Tamagotchi?
I did in college, and remember we went and bought them, and then after a while I was like, yeah, this thing, I'm too good at it, and it's very annoying. The next one was Nintendo 64.
Yes, I have a feeling I did get it this Christmas.
We did not get it till the summer. They did it as like a, you all got good grades, you can share this. But the 2 top selling games of this Christmas were Diddy Kong Racing.
Okay.
And GoldenEye.
Yeah,
Classic.
I remember my mom was very resistant. My mom's very weirdly puritanical. Not in a religious way, because we're not religious, so I don't really know what it is. It's just sort of I want to shield you from everything that is perceived to be bad. So the GoldenEye, there's obviously now the violence is laughable, but
Pierce
she resisted.
Brosnan. I get it.
Yeah.
She saw
Too
Pierce
handsome.
Brosnan and she was like,
Too
what
handsome.
a violently handsome man.
Yeah.
And he's always like,
Oh dear, it was a drive-by fruiting. Right? We saw Mrs. Doubtfire and we were never the same. Yeah, she bought it. She did eventually buy it for me in February of '98, and she couched it as a cute little Valentine's gift. And I was over the fucking moon.
yeah. And no Valentine's Day has equaled.
No. Every Valentine's
joking.
Day I spend with my wife, I'm like, what the fuck? What have you done for me? Have you gotten me GoldenEye? No.
Well, now she knows what to get you for the next one.
Hey, why? Have you answered this before for me? Why doesn't Nintendo Switch, or Nintendo eStore, put the fucking N64 games on there?
It's a mixture of things. Part of it, too, is that Rare, who owned a lot of those, is actually owned, or made a lot of those, is actually owned by Xbox right now. Owned by Microsoft. They bought and made a Banjo-Kazooie and it fucking sucked for Xbox or something.
Really?
Yeah. So a lot of those are gone, but those teams are going to other developers and making games that are sole successors. And then it comes down to controls, I think, too. Recently, they're kind of getting their feet wet by putting Mario 64 on that Mario 3D collection.
Yeah.
But the other thing too is that for the most part, a lot of times if you just bring them up to a new console, they kind of fucking suck shit.
They look bad?
Well, they're always going to look bad, but also when you're doing a game that's fully in a 3D space, that was really the transition. If you bring back a GameCube game, you have they really got down the 2 joystick moving of the cameras. N64 you had those C buttons and it would just it was just a mess.
Oh, yeah.
So a lot of that you'd have to really put some work into a lot of them. So that's my guess.
The Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 are beautiful. They rule. I know those are like totally remastered.
Well, they remake, a lot of them you have to completely remake them, pretty much.
Yeah,
but like they did
fucking
not
job.
remake Mario 64, and I was like, I don't care, just give it to me. And I'm playing it, and I'm like, all right, this camera kind of sucks. Like, it's funny that I'm like, I don't care, and then I'm like, I care a little, but yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
But speaking of classic games, this was like the other side of things, the non-Nintendo. But this is a shout out to our good friends and a podcast friend, the Every Effin' FF podcast with our good buddy and Where's the Witch founder, Carl.
That's right.
And
Shout
Curtis and Alex, because PlayStation was one of the biggest gets this holiday season, and the top-selling game, of course, is Final Fantasy VII.
Hey, there you go.
That's a big sword. It's a guy with a big sword.
That's right.
He's got his friend, his gun for a hand,
Yep.
and their fantasy. It's got to end. It's got to be the final one, baby.
Yeah. And
Then,
hey, if you want to make a move and fight a guy, you have to choose an option. Mm-hmm. Right? I remember that from that game. I don't know anything about Final Fantasy other than I remember my friends playing it, and you did have to like choose, like, do you want to punch or kick? Right? And it was like,
I'm like, why not
punch.
both?
Yeah. I was like, what was frustrating to me was like a stupid boy and now a stupid man is like, why can't I just hit the button and punch him? I got to like choose it first. And then he does it on his own.
Yeah. Like, you're like, I'm just yelling at people to do shit. I don't get to do any shit of my own.
Yeah.
Power Wheels, Jeeps. There was like a Barbie one. There was like another Jeep one. That was big, apparently. Mm-hmm. Dentist Barbie.
Okay.
Weird. That people would be like, yeah, Christmas. Yeah, I want to have my doll rip other dolls' teeth out. Kinects. I feel like Kinects were a thing that you get. I was always more of a Lego person, but at the same time, like, Kinects are a different beast.
Yeah.
They
just like building cities and like infrastructure and like you build a roller coaster and shit like that, right?
I feel like they were always just like, hey, we're Kinects. You can build a Ferris wheel or a roller coaster or a Ferris wheel. They're always like, hey, you see this Ferris wheel? We got 3 sets. We got a Ferris wheel. This one you can do, I don't know, just like, did we mention the Ferris wheel? Like,
hey, do you like amusement parks?
Can I build like a house? Nah, we just do lines. We just do framework.
Yeah.
And then Batman and Robin action figures.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember what I went super hard into on this Christmas.
Okay.
Hasbro, certain little company called Hasbro, had officially acquired the license to make Star Wars action figures.
Okay. Yep.
So these were like the green and orange carded 90s Star Wars figures when they started remaking them for the entire original trilogy. I remember getting a Luke that came with like a little like sand speeder thing. The thing about this Luke that people remember forever is that he was like insanely buff. And it's like, I just have to show you.
Please. I remember this this line, and they are very cool because they're very simple, right?
Yeah, they're like spiritual successors to the original Kenner toys. But like now when you look at them, everybody was fucking jacked.
Yeah. We'll post this to the gram. That is wild.
It's insane how ripped because they were like, oh, toys, kids want to play with like fucking ripped toys that are like super strong. But like, you remember these like that? Going to the Toys R Us and seeing those guys on the shelf.
Yes, those are my faves.
I remember getting one of the biggest birthday gifts ever. June of 1998. Mm-hmm. I got the Millennium Falcon.
Holy shit, that's huge.
That was like the biggest thing. Because I was like, that's all I want. It was like all I wanted. And I was like, I'll work for it. I'll put money into it. I think I even
Whatever
paid
it
like
takes.
half my I paid like half of the birthday gift. And let me tell you, every action figure took a ride in that Millennium Falcon for years. For years. But
I have one too. I don't know like how many there were or what's considered the best one, but it's still in my mom's basement. Mm-hmm. Still
and
going
that one
strong.
too, literally it's the same mold as the original one from the 80s. They just made
Hell
it
yeah.
different plastic, added some new paint, some little electronics. It's fun.
Fun times.
Fun times. But now for this fucking book, I just want to say time and place. One thing that's pretty interesting is that this is the longest gap between titles in Goosebumps history when it comes to like a franchise within Goosebumps. So there are 33 books between Monster Blood 3 and Monster Blood 4.
Yeah.
So long so that Monster Blood 3, our episode, took place on February 3rd of 2020.
Damn.
An in-person
Pre-COVID.
episode. In person. It was our last in-person episode before COVID, and Lou was our guest at my apartment. Different apartment, different world.
Yeah.
And I have a fun quote from that episode
Oh.
that I'm going to say when we start off, just to help with the plot. From you, Matt.
Okay.
So
perfect.
remember, we'll quote you on that.
I think I know what it is.
The song was still Candle in the Wind, 1997. The movies were Flubber, Scream 2. And it's only fitting that we've picked one of the most late 90s movies of all time to end on, Titanic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I remember I got in trouble once because a girl put Leonardo DiCaprio pictures all over her desk and taped them down, and I drew mustaches on every single one. And then I was like, oh, that's fine. I used dry erase marker. You could just wipe it off. And then I wiped it off, and like all the tape became like black, like because it got on the cracks. And I was like, uh-oh, I in trouble. So this book marks the final appearance of Andy, Kermit, and Conan, as well as Trigger. Evan, our main character, has a brief cameo and return in the Return to Horrorland book series. I already talked about the monster that is obscured by the Fox Kids logo.
Yeah.
The back, instead of having an advertisement for the next book, has an advertisement for Goosebumps 2000.
Series 2000. There it is. And there's a preview of the book at the end of this book. Cry of the Cat. Yep.
Mine's a bootleg, so I don't have that.
Nothing back there?
Nothing back there. It just ends.
That's what I tell people about my ass. I'm like, they're like, hey, can you sit down? And I'm like, no, nothing
No,
back
it's
there.
a bootleg.
Yeah. I just slide out of my chair.
Weird thing, this I think goes into a lot of our whole like visiting your parents at refrigerator salesman school or whatever the fuck we always make excuses.
Yeah.
Andy mentions that she's visiting her dad's lab, even though she established in the Monster Blood 2 canon that her parents were abroad for the year and that her family lives in town that Evan was visiting in the first book.
Yeah, that's right.
Like none of it, like Andy literally lives in the town that he's visiting and then goes to visit him while her parents are away and now just lives there. Like they're just like,
yeah,
Arlstein doesn't give a fuck.
No, I also, can I just derail us real quick? Because I was looking back here at this Cry of the Cat, and
yeah.
I'm going to show you this page. So you don't have this back there either, I'm guessing, but this has an advertisement. This is unreal, and I want to do it so bad. If I had a time machine, I would go do this first, and then I would kill Hitler. This is plan now for a cruise vacation with R.L. Stine, the Goosebumps guy. August 31st through September 7th, 1998. A land and sea adventure so cool it will give you the chills. For more information, ask your parents to call this number. It's a Sail with the Stars exclusive event. So you could take a cruise with R.L. Stine. I'm going to show Dave this ad, and we'll post it to our gram. Unbelievable.
That's incredible.
amazing. To be on a boat with a 50-year-old R.L. Stine. Come on.
All right, important questions now.
Yeah.
You're saying time machine. Would you want to be there now as you are? 30, young 30?
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Or do you want to be a child on it?
Either is fine. I'm equally excited.
I want to be older, so it's like all the kids are in bed, and you go and you're like sipping your fucking drink out of half a coconut shell, and then you just look over and he's having his like, third Moscato.
Yeah, he is. He's drinking a small glass of brandy.
And he's just writing down titles. And you're
Yeah.
like, what do you got there? And he's just like, hello, I'm R.L. Stine. These are my dead house. Like,
Yeah. He says, welcome to my dead house.
yeah, return to the dead house. It's right fucking there, dude.
Ooh, that's good. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I would be my age now so I could, like, have a beer. I don't know.
Yeah, like kiss him on the lips and no one has to go to jail.
Yeah. Ooh, imagine if like we were sitting there and I just like took out a joint and I lit it and I passed it to him and he was receptive. That would be great.
That'd be really cool.
Fucking rule.
He'd probably be like 420. Blaze it. I'm R.L. Stine.
I'm very sick.
Yeah. So this book as well is one of what used to be 4 books that were called the unprinted from fans. The unreprinted. They existed in a group of books: Werewolf Skin, I Live in Your Basement, Monster Blood 4, and also Legend of the Lost Legend.
Okay.
Weirdly enough, but I think that had a bigger print run. Also, the Barnes & Noble and Amazon like vintage reprint had those.
Right.
So
Right.
after a while, that became reprinted. But these still only exist in first edition. And that's why a copy of this book can cost you anywhere. What would you say? It's actually gone up recently. It's around $60, 60 to 80.
Yeah. If you want like a first edition actual authentic book that is in relatively good condition, that's what you're looking at.
Another strange thing, a lot of people have purchased bootleg ones, and they are much cheaper. I got this one for I think around 18, like maybe like $20 shipping.
Yeah.
All the fake ones come from India for some reason. Don't know why. And they look the same for the most part. The embossed front is a little off. The crazy thing is that they have like, this one has like an actual like price sticker tag on the back.
That's
but
weird.
In the back of the book, it does not have the Cry of the Cat. It just kind of
The story just ends?
Yeah, so they're bootlegs, which is crazy that this book would have bootlegs. But it does.
Yeah, that is wild.
I just needed a copy of it. I don't care if it's real or not.
As long as it's the story, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, and now we can start the plot. Evan is back, and he is once again staying with his cousin Kermit, who, as Matt said, pre-COVID, Kermit is a dumb little wizard.
Oh, is that the quote?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I just like that. Because you're like, Lou's like, what is Kermit? He does science and shit. And you're like, Kermit's a dumb little wizard.
I mean, he still is.
Yeah.
He's very annoying. And Evan thinks so too. And he doesn't want to spend any time with him. But his parents are going downtown to sell refrigerators. And he's got to go somewhere. So he goes to his aunt's house, Aunt Dee, right? And Kermie's there. Kermie! Right?
Last episode, producer Chib came and did her Miss Piggy impression.
That's right. That's right. Classic. Yeah. And, Kermit immediately fucking pisses him off and like does a bunch of shit. He like covers Evan in tarantulas and stuff. That is a weird thing because Kermit's like, come down to the basement to my science lab. And I want to see if spiders react to fear. So I'm going to like put spiders all over your face. And if you get scared, they'll bite you. And like I'll write something down. And Evan's like, that doesn't sound good at all. Also, Evan's mad because his aunt puts hot sauce in and on everything.
Yep.
And it like makes him mad for some reason. I don't know.
So dumb.
So that's mentioned in this book. I thought the quote that you were going to recite is what I say literally every episode, and what I said, what we were both saying before the record, which is like, this we'll blow through this book. Like there's nothing to talk about. Here's the plot. It's a couple sentences, and then we end up taking like 45 minutes to talk about it.
Yeah, but this is the final book, and it's not happening. We're not going to let it happen.
Yeah, because it is insulated. It all takes place at Kermit's house and in the yard, mostly. Yeah. And there's like Conan the bully is back. He gets involved. And what's her face? Andy's also back. She comes over and she's involved. And ultimately what it comes down to is that Evan keeps getting pissed off by Kermit. He's supposed to be like responsible for Kermit, but Kermit is who he is, so he keeps like doing crazy shit, and then Evan gets in trouble for it. And then Andy comes over and says like, "Hey, look what I got! It's a little can." And Evan's like, "Oh my God, is that monster blood?" And like 9 times, she's like, "Oh, it's actually like party snakes." Or it's like it's a can of like Bush's baked beans or something. Yeah. But then like the 10th time she's like, "Oh, this is a blue can of what I think might be monster blood that I found in the garbage outside of a science lab." And that one ends up being the monster blood, and the monster blood's different now. Right? Or this one is. This iteration. Yeah. It's not even really monster blood.
According to R.L. Stine, there's no monster blood in this book.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what you find out by the end.
Yeah. Also, we didn't mention Conan, like, literally just, like, walks around the bushes next door. And, like, there's always something that he's just like, "Ooh, I'm so mad."
Yes.
And then he beats up. Like, my favorite is that, like, throughout the whole beginning of the book, Evan is so horny to get revenge on Kermit, but he's just like, "How about we go outside and have a water gun fight?" And he's just like, "I'm gonna fucking soak this little bitch. I'm gonna super soaker 8,000 him. He's just gonna raise his mouth, and I'm gonna blow water in his mouth, and a balloon's gonna pop on his head, and I'm gonna win a teddy bear at the fair. I'm gonna shoot him so hard." And like throughout the whole beginning, he's just like, "You want me to cover you in tarantulas?" And he's just like, "What's the weather like outside? Chance of downpour? I'm gonna the water gun, get you with my water gun." And it's just so fucking dumb. And then they get outside with the water gun, and he like makes Evan's water gun shoot like Conan's new shoes. So he just like beats the shit out of him over and over again. Yeah. And there's like a bunch of dumb things that happen like that. We don't need to talk about any of them. All we need to know is that they dump the blue slime, and it's like we said, like on the cover of the book, it looks like a used condom slug that's blue that would say like, "Hello."
Yes.
That's like its voice.
1,000%.
It's got big old lips.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's got little smoocher lips. And one thing that Kermit does that I guess we should mention is that Kermit makes like a solution, some kind of like a serum that makes you grow hair, but like werewolf style, like it touches your skin and you sprout like a patch of grotesque hair.
Yeah.
He just made this for some reason, and at one point it's like Evan gets horny because he thinks he's gonna like dump it all over Conan and make him hairy as revenge, but that doesn't happen. What does happen is they crack open this little can of monster blood one night, which isn't really monster blood, and one of these little slugs comes out, and it's a blue little slug guy, and he's a real cutie pie. This one is real nice. He's got a little cute face and a tiny little mouth, and he's just like me, like he.
Yeah, he doesn't sound like Joan Rivers yet.
Yeah, no, he just makes a little noise and he like purrs and stuff. He likes to be pet. And they're like, oh, that's actually nice. But Evan still doesn't like it. But Andy's like, well, it's like a little cutie pie. Like, what's like, whatever. And but then how does it find its first water?
So it like goes over to a hose.
Oh, that's right.
It
It makes a
explodes into
beeline
two.
for the hose. Yeah. So these things love water. They're like Edgar from Men in Black. And they need sugar and water. And the thing is, they're also a bit like gremlins. Because if you get them wet, you... They want to
explode.
Yeah, no. They do. They explode and they turn evil. And they're always dividing. They're like cells. So after they consume water, there's like a bunch of them. Basically, before you know it, there's like a shit ton of them.
Yeah. My favorite part of this is when they're like, quick, put them back in the can and close it. And like Andy holds the lid up and like a wind just blows it onto the roof. Like, it's just, Arlstein is just like, these fucking kids are going to be like, why don't you close it? I'll stop them. I'll say that the wind blew it from her hand onto the roof.
And you know what? This was before it escaped in the first place. And my thought was like, you don't need the lid. Like, just like put your hand over it, saran wrap it, aluminum foil. Like, what do you got? Just
a
like
real
do
condom.
that. Yes. Put like a textbook on top of it. Like,
Yeah.
But whatever.
But there's like prize flowers that the ant likes, but that we don't care about, and it like sucks the moisture out of their fucking flower dicks and shit. It sucks puddles. Then it gets on Andy's face and she starts like face fucking her. She's like, give us your liquid, and she's like, and it sucks the moisture out of everything. And then they just like put it in a trash bag.
Yeah.
And they like, Kermit, go hide this. And then like Evan gets in trouble for it's just like, you've made my flowers diseased in black and white.
Yeah.
This is obviously the work of a 12-year-old.
Yeah. I don't get that, but he was held responsible for that too. Yeah. And Kermit's like, well, don't worry. I put our big garbage bags of slug monsters in the bathroom. And Evan's like, in the bathroom where there's like all the water?
Yeah. And he's just like, well, not only is there like a leaky faucet, but also I put my hair formula in there.
Yes. Yeah. So when they open the door, there's like even more. They're out of the bags, first of all. And there's even more of them. And they all have like weird, like long black hair. They look like an 80s. They look like Meatloaf in the 80s, right?
Yeah. They look like like if the Furby brand made a fleshlight.
Yeah.
It's just like a mouth and like fur in a tube.
Yeah, and eyes that roll around in their little heads.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they have a problem and they need to round them up again, but they like get past them and they go outside and they think they can maybe shock them because Kermit has installed like an electric fence somehow around his yard, and he has like a remote control for it. And so he's like, well, if we can try to fry them, and maybe that'll work because they seem to want to like be cool and stay hydrated and all this shit. But that doesn't really materialize into anything. They just like Evan keeps getting shocked, and then also Conan keeps getting shocked at different periods throughout the book.
Yeah. It's supposed to be a red herring that's like, oh, they're going to use this shock to save the day. But like, he forgets to turn it on.
Yeah, they don't even.
So it's like, he's like, oh well.
They also try to use a pot of Aunt D's hot sauce because they're like, well, that wouldn't be palatable because they tend to just like cool water rather than like a spicy food. I don't know. And they are unaffected by that. They drink it up.
But the dog likes it, and then they fucking kill the dog. Like, one of the cliffhangers is they killed the dog.
Yeah, they were like, the dog moved its legs one last time and then laid there still. And I was like, what the fuck is this?
And then he's just like, JK, gotcha.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, but like, this is a kid's book. There's some shit you just don't fucking do.
Yeah, he
like,
keeps
you don't
talking
just
about,
end it and be like, and then I went to bed thinking about how my parents will be outlived by me and I will have to mourn them every day. It's like,
I will bury
just
them
kidding. It's like, no,
fight
you put
over their assets.
Yeah, you put the memory in there. You put the thought in there, you asshole.
Yeah, there's this description that sticks with you too. It's like he keeps talking about how the dog's eyes roll wildly in its head because it licks the hot sauce and it doesn't like that, and that's not good for dogs. So it's like trying to like run around because it's like uncomfortable in its mouth, and then like all the slugs jump on the dog and like murder it. It's not actually dead, and then they're going like through the neighborhood now with this like parade, as they say, of these little creatures, and eventually the cops come. And
this part's fucking nuts. Cause like they get like the I don't even know what to call them. The like blue guys just get so filled with water, and there's so many of them. One thing we forgot to mention is that every time they explode, they get madder. And they're like, which is such a weird thing to see, just being like, they seem to be getting angrier. Like, they're already fucking tried to like fuckface the life out of you in flowers, and they killed your dog, and you're like, I think their anger level went to a 7. Like, shut the fuck up.
It was like, like the next iteration they have teeth, and then the next iteration they have sharp teeth, and then they're like trying to bite, and they have like the mean angry eyes.
Yeah. Then they only listen to Mudvayne. And then like
Dig, bury me.
And then it's great because this all solves itself because they get so mad that they all eat each other.
Yep.
Which doesn't make sense because they all die.
The cops come and they plant drugs on at least 3 of those blue guys, and then they just shoot the rest. They also shoot the dog.
It's funny too because literally the cops are like, "Oh, you again?" Because they remember. They're like the only people that really remember the monster blood shit. Because at one point they even tell the aunt like, "Hey, there's monster blood outside," and she's just like, "What? I don't, whatever." And I'm like, no,
what?
Your son was a giant and the cops tried to shoot him. Like, you should probably care. But the cops literally, when they figure out that there actually are no monsters there, they just try to find a way to ticket these children.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
Yeah, serve and
like,
protect my ass. Fucking pigs.
Yeah, I loved
like these kids. Fuck
I loved
you.
when Andy shouted "A cab," and they feel, I guess, inconvenienced. The cops feel inconvenienced, so they like want to write a ticket for something, and they're like, it's so, I don't even want to talk about it. It's because it's like, I don't know. They just witnessed this, right? They witnessed the blue guys, right?
Well, I don't even know if they did. I think they show up after, and they're like, "Hey, where's the problem?" And they're like, "Everything's fine." And they're like, "Oh, it's you fuckers? All right, let's find something to get them with."
Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, so that's better. And they want to get them for like littering or something. And then one of them's like, "Hey, Charlie, let's just let them go. We don't want to do the paperwork tonight." And they go home. I mean, that's...
So their son, Conan, who probably will also become a cop. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, and they go back home, and they like leave the monster blood. They like throw the monster blood in Conan's yard. Is that right?
So they want to do, the whole time they want to get revenge on Conan for like kicking their ass for no reason.
Yeah.
Not even kicking their ass, just kicking Evan's ass. So he's like, I can't water fight this guy to oblivion, so I need to find a way. So what they do is they throw the like leftover blue can into their yard.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're like, "Oh, then he'll have to deal with it." Then like a fucking like dude just walks into their backyard, And he's like, hey, it's me, Professor Eric Crane.
Oh, that's right.
I'm a professor. I was the one who invented these monsters. I made them for the military. We were going to drop them in other countries, and then they get angrier and angrier and deplete their water supply and kill everybody. But they get so mad that they kill themselves. I lost billions of dollars doing it. And I was like,
$50 million.
It was $50 million. And I wanted it to say, like, you can tell R.L. Stine was just like, of taxpayers' money. Like, and he's just like, are they dead? It's like, yeah, they're dead. And he's like, goodbye, thank you. And just leaves. And he's like in like a lab suit.
Yeah.
Just walks through. So the next day, Conan walks in for breakfast and he's just like, hey. And they're like, oh boy, he's going to talk about all the little used condoms that are attacking his family. And he's just like, hey, that candy you didn't let me see was delicious, but I have a problem. And then he's like, there's a bunch of me's and they're getting meaner. So like the whole thing is like Conan's mean, but then you look outside and there's meaner Conans. Yeah.
He ate it and he reproduced asexually.
Yeah. Do you know what would be the best though? I can't wait for the inevitable point where all the Conans start literally tearing each other limb from limb and murder.
Like one's running through the yard with another Conan's arm in his hand.
Yeah. Oh man, and that's the whole fucking book.
That's the book, man. It's I was trying to think of a worse book. I don't know off the top of my head. What's the worst book that we've read? I mean, Why I'm Afraid of Bees was stupid.
Oh, that fucking sucked. I feel like it was a later one that was like the worst.
Yeah.
We have Why I'm Afraid of Bees is worse than Let's Get Invisible. Chicken sucked.
Oh, yeah, Chicken.
What was Don't Go to Sleep?
I don't remember.
Oh, How I Learned to Fly sucked.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, this is next episode. We don't want to give it away.
No, I'm gonna edit some of this out. But yeah, this
is one of the shittiest ones.
Yeah, like I'm hard pressed. It's at least as bad as the worst one we've read so far.
Yes,
if not worse. And which sucks because this is the end of a canon that is so beloved and is such a phenomenon and spawned all the shit we have and know now. And it just fucking sucks. Like he should have just stopped. I Live in Your Basement was cool. Like just stop there.
Yeah. That would have been a good way to end it. But this is one of the biggest franchises just because of that fucking hamster, so you know.
Yeah, I guess.
And it doesn't end here, which is interesting. Maybe, there's, I think, 2 more Monster Bloods after this.
Yeah, in various different incarnations.
There's one that came out, like, a month ago. It's fucking wild.
Yeah.
And then there's, like, Monster Blood for Breakfast. Like, Monster Blood for Breakfast, you already know that book sucks.
For sure.
Like, there's no way that book's good.
It can't be good.
No. Okay, right now we're going to think of a plot. Monster Blood for Breakfast, that's good. Ready, set, go.
Oh, it has to be good? Okay.
Yeah, it's us if we were writing, and it's called Monster Blood for Breakfast, and it's got to be good.
Okay. Okay. It's a normal day, and
okay. Wait. Actually,
yes.
Never mind.
Okay.
Let's kill our listeners in Monster Blood for Breakfast, our version.
Oh, that's great. Okay. Do you have a point of reference there for the reviews?
I'll do them in a little bit. Let's finish this episode off. Do you have any good writing?
Okay. No. I have I have one overarching statement, which is this book is in third person, and I'm used to, I know there are some third person entries, but I'm used to the first person entries. I feel like those are more common, especially as of late. And what this book does well, and I've said this before, is still he does 2 things. He's writing in third person, but he's suffusing the narrative with Evan's inner monologue, sort of, right? Like, it's like the narrator is sort of on his side and is weighing in for Evan, even when Evan's not speaking. And I have an example of this on page 14. And this is actually also funny, and this will happen now and then. This is when Kermit is like throwing tarantulas all over Evan's body, and Evan understandably is not a fan of that. And Dave, as you said, he compartmentalizes this stuff, and he's like, I'm going to get him back. I know how. Revenge is a dish best served cold, baby, and I'm going to squirt him with a tiny bit of water, and that'll fucking show his ass. And the book says, was this on page 14? It calls Kermit a little freak. I don't know where it is in here, but it's not Evan speaking. It's the book. It says like something about him being a little freak, and I thought that was funny, and it's successful, and sort of makes you like, it tries to make you empathize more with Evan. How about you?
Is what I liked. He couldn't wait to drench Kermit. He wanted to soak the little freak to make him sputter and choke and shiver and shake until he begged for mercy. And then he would really let him have it. Funny. Great minds think alike, right?
What page is that?
18.
It doesn't matter. Oh, 18. I fucked up.
I liked this part where it just made Kermit feel like a real nerd. Not only is his name Kermit, but it said Kermit laughed too. A high, shrill whinny. That's like
yeah, he's a cute little horse.
Yeah. Page 37. This sentence is just so good. I don't care if it's not structured well, or it's not really stand out grammatically, or but the content. Evan handed the hairy egg back to his cousin. I don't think there's anything sexual about it. I just love that it's like families involved, and that it's just very plain and just like, here's the hairy egg, man. Like it's like, thanks for giving me your hairy egg.
Yeah, the Kermit he puts some of the serum on an egg, and it's like covered in hair. I put it in my bad because it makes me want to fucking barf. It's so gross.
I put it in my good. Speaking of bad, what's your bad?
Well, I mean, all of it. The first chapter, you know what you're in for, because it's fucking horrendous. It's pure filler. It's absolute trash. I'm going to read the first page just so you get a little taste of it. And most of the book is like this, but I mean, wow, what a way to get into the shit. Evan Ross was thinking about Monster Blood. He thought about Monster Blood a lot. Evan wished he had never discovered Monster Blood. Like, right away, this is like a third grader wrote this in one of those fucking blue-lined test books. The sticky, slimy green goo had to be the most dangerous substance on Earth. Evan knew that as soon as you open a can of Monster Blood, you are doomed. The Monster Blood will grow and grow and suck up everything in its path. And if you accidentally eat some of the green monster goo, look out. It recaps what has happened in previous books. And then it says, so why was he thinking about Monster Blood today at the end of page 1? And when you turn the page, you know that even RL doesn't know. He doesn't know the answer to the question he's just asked. Why is Evan thinking about it today? And he's like, it was his green sweater. He's wearing a green sweater, and it reminded him of Monster Blood. There we go. Like, it's just pure garbage, pure filler. Page 14, he says Evan is mad about the tarantulas, and he says that it says Evan wanted to scream. He pictured Kermit eating a tarantula sandwich. What the fuck? The hairy egg is gross. And then on page 43, Andy says, like, yeah, I just found this can like outside of a lab in a pile of trash. It says, I was waiting in the parking lot behind the lab. I found this in a whole pile of stuff. Like, why is it there? But then by the end, RL does shoehorn in that fucking random scientist for 2 pages.
Yeah.
So you find out why, but it's just like a disaster. Purely like the most perfunctory book I've ever read. How about you?
Chapter 1 ends with 3 annoying cliffhangers. Like, they literally do it like 3 separate times. Last book, we said that the cliffhangers, which you usually hate, are okay.
Yeah.
This one, it's like literally, maybe I can give it to Kermit as a Christmas present. No, Kermit is such a shrimp, the Shredder would be down to his knees. It really did remind Evan of the monster blood, the green ooze and stuff. And there's like a bunch of different things throughout that chapter that are always like, well, what about this? Well, what about... It's just like, it's exactly what you said. It's written so... not even elementary, as this is an elementary school book, but it's just like there's no effort or anything behind this. No. He's just, and it's not even like, hey, I'm filling you in and it's exposition. It's just like, oh yeah, it's Evan, shirt's green, big monster blood's green, is bad, don't worry.
It's like stream of consciousness, but not in an interesting way. It's just like made up on the spot. It's like he's dictating it to you off the top of his head.
And it's not even filler, like he's trying to fill space, because it's the very beginning. Like, you start off the book and he's not trying. Yeah. Kermit says "woff woff" a lot, which I think is supposed to be like his breathing. It's like WOFFF. I don't get it, because he does, like, it should be like "woff woff," said Kermit. And like, I don't know. Give us a little description. You're the one who always like shows and tells. At least be like, you know, his heavy breathing. He has a nasally thing. He's congested. I don't know. There's a lot of description you can put in there. Everything's recycled. All the Conan Kermit pranks. The dreams of getting picked up by an animal and chewed has literally been in every single Monster Blood book. Yeah. I was going to say that's probably the strongest description of him getting picked up by, well, I don't even fucking remember what it was. Like a rat or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah, Dave, I skipped that. I saw that he was dreaming. And I was like, I'm going to just skip this page because I don't give a fuck.
In the previous ones, I've liked it, but literally that's always the strongest point of every book. He just recycles it. On page 54, is there a period in the middle of a sentence, or is it just my bootleg copy?
I didn't notice that.
On page, it says, the third paragraph down, it says, 2 big round eyes appeared above the mouth. The creature was about the size of a chipmunk. Between of and a, there's a period.
Oh, no.
That's my bootleg bullshit. Well, the bootleg sucks. That's my bad part. Petted and purred is like written a million times. They finally tell an adult for the first time. Just like, I'm always like, just tell an adult. And the mom, they're like, Mom, just take a look at them, Kermit pleaded. Look out the window now. And she says, I can't right now. She replied, I have to stir. And literally just stood there stirring.
Yeah.
Like, they went in and they were stirring, and then like, hey, we're finally doing what everyone's always asked. And she's just like, nah, I'm fine here with this pot. Like, it's just so weird. And the creatures covered Evan. Darkness swept over him. He struggled to breathe. He wondered if Kermit and Andy were being smothered beside him. He sucked in a mouthful of air. A cold, wet blob pressed over his face. Evan couldn't let the air out. He heard a rush, a buzz in his ears. The sound of my own blood, he thought. My own blood pulsing through my veins. It should be in the good writing, right? Sure. But just like, don't fucking try. This is the end of the book. You can't try for like 3 seconds and be like, yeah. I ended. It's tough though. It's like, no, fuck you. That's like if you were playing like like soccer and you're the goalie and you're like fucking playing Game Boy, and then at the end you do an incredible save. You do like three flips and kick it into the air or some shit. And you'd be like, yeah, at the beginning I didn't really give a shit, about at the end you see my flips. Yeah. Everyone would be like, no, we lost 1,000,000 to nothing. This book, you lost 1,000,000 to nothing, R.L. Stein. Fuck you.
And it's even worse than that, because it's like, that's good comparatively, but it's not even that great.
Yeah. All right. So what is your top spook and scare?
I would say
for the last spook and scare.
Oh, this is the last time we ever do this segment.
Yeah. unless we do it for the whole series as a whole. So we'll see.
All right. Well, we'll see about that. Yeah, I mean, just taking time out of my day and life to read this frightens me to think about. How about you?
The bathroom damage.
Sure, yeah, ruining
They put them
pipe.
into the bathroom. They say that one of the monsters chewed through the pipe under the sink.
Yeah, that's
hoping to become a homeowner sooner or later. The idea of having to replace piping and stuff like that, it just sounds like a nightmare. It's very scary.
for sure. Yeah.
Or the cops coming up to you and basically deciding on something to give you for no reason.
Yeah.
Also is a little scary. Yeah.
Yeah. How about your best dressed?
I think it's when, I don't know if it was the dog or Evan having the monsters on sucking from him, but there's a sentence that where they say they looked like two big salamis hanging from his face. So my
That's
best
good.
dressed is old salami face.
That's good. I liked right at the beginning, the first time you see Conan, it says, despite the winter cold, he wore a gray muscle shirt and tight black spandex bike shorts.
Oh wow!
And I don't know why. He's not riding a bike.
You could see his mushroom tip because they were so tight, and the light was in a way that you could see that he was circumcised, and a little mushroom in his pants for peeing out of. A little peeing mushroom tip.
His little monster bud down there. What about an
Is that your alt title?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Monster bud. Thank you, Dave.
All right.
What about you?
You shouldn't have done this. It was over.
Deep regret for.
It was done. Why did you do this?
Yeah. Thanks for nothing.
Why did you could have ended it so good.
Yeah, that's the disparity. I don't know that we've had this. I feel like the books got gradually worse, and then it's sort of hit
They
or
got
miss.
good.
Yeah, and then toward the end they got good, and now between 61 and 62, precipitous drop.
Insane. You like literally, if you wanted to do 60, you could have just thrown bees in the fucking trash and then just done like the monster and been done.
Yeah.
Or if you're gonna write this shitty one, be a real fucking hero and write an extra 7 for us.
Yeah, right.
Like, you're already writing the Cry of the Cat and these Monster Blood 2000s. Just be like, listen, 7 of these 2000s books just gotta be
Goosebumps.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, fuck you, Goosebumps 2000. I just learned that this book came out in 1997. Jump in the shark a little?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, 2000 is like futuristic, I guess, at this point. New millennium.
I guess, but that's like right now being like, ooh, 2024. Goosebumps 2024.
Yeah,
Will
it doesn't-
Arlstein still be alive? Find out.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, but
Yeah.
where's the witch? I guess it's this fucking Doc Brown guy who shows up.
Yeah, science is nature's witch.
Yeah. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay. And our luscious liquor, I mean, it's definitely these little creatures, these mean little goblins.
I think he's right on the cover. He's that boy just going to town. He's literally slobbing the knob of the of the shower.
Now, Dave, would you say that this cover in itself, because they are voraciously thirsty, is this a thirst trap, this picture?
It is when they shut the door to that bathroom.
All right. That's all the dumb shit we do, right? Brian, where's my pube? Is
wait.
it my pube?
Yeah.
Where is it?
Now we're good.
And
I was about
where
to
is
be
it,
like,
and
well,
does it belong to me? Let me know. Yeah.
all right, so
and
let
then
me
let's murder.
What do you think? 3 people to murder?
Yeah, the 3 max, because this episode has gone on now for 3.5 hours.
Dude, we've gone on for like 3.5 years. Like we can.
I know, but it's too long.
All right. Best Goosebumps pod out there from T-Mac Reacts. Hey, it's Ty from Ty's Throwbacks. Dave and Matt, you make my workday so enjoyable. Man, this brought back every memory I could fathom when it came to these books. Nostalgia is packed into every episode, along with the comedy and laughs from these two dudes. Thank you guys. As a nostalgic toy reviewer, this is a pure treasure for me. Ty.
Hey, thanks, Ty.
And then this one says, Bad at Reviews by J Cavs 83. I'm horrible at reviews, but this is the best Goosebumps podcast.
That's the whole thing.
5 stars. I don't know. I liked it.
That's good.
I think that's a good review.
That's good. Yeah.
All right. And then we'll end with a Squealing Mage is the name, and Bleary Eyed is the thing.
Right.
So I think we may know who this is, but it's between two of our friends. I think I know who this is.
Okay. It like shares.
I think I know, and maybe the brother of somebody who I do another podcast with.
Right. Okay.
Yes. This is the funniest and most insightful Goosebumps podcast I've listened to yet. Matt and Dave take the time to really dissect and appreciate the writing and nostalgia of Goosebumps, while also discussing the terrifying nature of a myriad of sick sucking and slurping noises. Highly recommend.
Oh, that's very nice.
That's very nice.
Thank you.
So we have Ty, the Squealing Mage, and where is and J Cavs.
Okay.
So it's Ty, J Cavs, and Squealing Mage.
Okay. I have to literally write these down.
I'm literally doing the same. Okay. I'm gonna type it right here. Ty,
Squealing,
J Cavs, and Squealing Mage.
Now you're saying calves like on my legs?
That's what it says. It says J Cavs, J Cavs 83.
Okay.
He has 83 calves.
Okay.
Not like
amazed.
a baby. Not like a baby.
Not like a cow.
Yeah. And it's Squealing Mage, like a wizard.
Okay.
Harry.
Right.
You're a wizard, Harry.
It's appreciate all these reviews. Appreciate anybody listening, whether or not you left a review. Always amazed that anyone says anything, even approaching like they really dig into the literary analysis. Because in my mind, what my mind's impression of what this show is that you and I show up and we're like, hey, dude, you ever think about like jizz? And you're like, oh, shit, yeah. And what about like a cum dumpster? And I'm like, all right, until next time.
Literally, we're like, this character's name is Evan, which reminds me of Evan Peters. I watched Mayor of Easttown. Did you know that Peter is another name for a penis? Goodbye.
Yes.
It's like we start with a goosebump and then we get lost and then we come back to like, but a vagina has lips, right?
Much like these little blue guys. Yeah.
Hello, it's me, the blue lips.
A big mouth bass.
Yeah, that's the voice.
Okay. Well, so you want to shoehorn these guys into a Monster Blood for Breakfast scenario?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to like bounce back and forth?
Yeah, let's do this.
Okay. So I would say, again, it's a normal day. I'm off to school. I am in such a rush because inexplicably school still begins at like fucking 7:20 or something, right? Is like the first
bullshit.
bell.
Fucking hate that shit.
Yeah, insane. And I forgot breakfast, so I'm gonna go to my cafeteria's vending machine and see what's in there. And what do I see? I see Ty in the this isn't the direction I originally was going to go, but I'm going to go for it.
You shoehorned in your own. Wait. So Ty is in the guy? Ty cat? No, Ty? The throwback Ty? Or is it like the Thai food? There's like a pad Thai in there.
It's Ty the guy.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
He's in there, and he's in one of the wheel spokes, and he's like, please free me. He's small. That's why the voice is small, because he has to fit in there. And so there's a bunch of problems right away. It's like A, what happened to make you so small? B, how'd you get in there? And then C, how am I going to get you out? And I think I have an answer to only C. Yes.
Well, you forgot D.
Okay.
It is illegal to sell humans, at least in America.
Yeah, there is a legality issue, and I don't know how much air you got in there. Yeah. So I got to free you, but my man, I'm fucking hungry as hell. So I'm going to just grab a little breakfast, and then I'll use my remaining change to get you out. So I see there's Pop-Tarts. And I'm like, nice. Ooh, baby. This is before I know that Pop-Tarts have like 75 grams of carbs. They're like one of the worst foods on earth for you. I'm like, yeah, normal breakfast. So I get the strawberry frosted Pop-Tarts, and I'm shoving them in my face. And what's in there? It's not frosting. It's fucking Monster Blood.
Oh no!
And by the way,
special edition.
This is from my perspective. I'm actually JCavs 83.
So we're doing it first person as JCavs.
Yeah. I'm JCavs. I'm eating the Pop-Tart filled with Monster Blood. Now I'm freaking out about that. I can't free Ty yet because I don't know what's going to happen. Am I going to grow? Am I going to asexually reproduce as Colin did? What's his name? We just finished the book. Conan did? Conan. I mean, the possibilities are endless. But I'm there. I fall to my knees and I clutch my throat. Dave, what happens next?
You, JCavs, start growing. As we expected.
Nice. You get a look at my hog or what?
Growing. But it's weird because you don't feel any taller. You're growing horizontally.
I'm wider?
It's your hog. It's your hog, Marty. Your hog.
You have to go back and show your mother your hog and almost fuck her.
So it turns out that you had just rub one out before school, so your body just sent down there to refill your cum glands. And
my cum glands.
Yeah, Ty, quiet. And so your dick just starts growing and growing and growing. It's filling the whole hallway, and it's just, like squeezing all the furniture up against the sides of the hallways. The lockers are all slamming shut. People are running. And all of a sudden, you see and feel a light pitter-patter on the growing genitals of yours.
Uh-huh.
It's the squealing mage. You hear him coming. He's like, woo!
Because of the pressure from my hog. Is it squishing him?
No, he's squealing. That's just what he does, or they do. I don't know who this is yet, but
I mean, as a reaction, they are running across squealing. Okay,
they're just running. They're squealing. They're running. Yeah. They're a mage, so of course, if they're a mage, they pull out their magic wand.
Yeah, sure,
as mages do, and they notice little Ty still in the vending machine.
Yeah.
Runs up to the glass, because at this point, half the glass is covered in dick. Like, it's getting...
For sure.
So, squealing mage holds the magic wand high above their head and goes, abracadabra, bitch, and just smashes the fucking glass.
Oh, fuck.
Reaches in, grabs Ty out. Only problem is then you, Jay, your dick, not only is it grown really, really big and it's hurting, but now it's covered in glass.
Oh, no.
Yeah. All right, there you go.
Oh, yeah. So I got a bunch of problems now. I mean, one now, Dave, did I also grow, or did just my dick grow horizontally?
Just your dick.
Just my dick. So I'm normal size, but my dick is like one of those circus tents that you have to like throw up with your classmates and sit underneath it.
Yes, it is. But it's only because you took only one bite. Because you got like a lot of the crust of the Pop-Tart. You didn't get a lot of like the inner Monster Blood goo.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So here's what I do is first of all, I start to thank you, Squealing Mage, your wizardry has come in handy this day. You have saved Ty from the vending machine, but might you return him to normal size? And I talk like a weirdo now, and you
well, you are J Cavs.
J Cavs for cutie, and then you oblige and you return Ty to normal size, and we're like, thank God. And the problem is that the vending machine now is unstable from the glass breaking, and it just immediately, as soon as Ty grows back to normal size, it tips over and falls onto Ty, and he dies.
Oh, man.
Gruesome, horrible. But now I've got all this glass on my dick. I'm just hanging out with my buddy Squealing Mage, but my dick is covered in glass, and it's wide as hell. So I call over the custodial arts folks, and I say, hello, and would you like some breakfast? And I toss half the Pop-Tart, and the custodian says, and eats and eats the Pop-Tart. And this was my plan all along, because now they're big, and they were holding a broom at the time, and the broom is also big. So now all they have to do
up your dick
quickly in one sweep, boom, glass no longer on dick. They're big forever, but like that's not my problem. And but then something fucking horrible happens. Squealing Mage goes to leave and slips on my wide ass like pancake dick, which is now encompassing like a whole cafeteria, and like rolls, but rolls like sort of snowballs himself or themselves into the dick flaps and suffocates.
Oh shit.
Yep.
And then another bad thing happens, because the janitor who got bigger was just like, oh man, I did my work, now I gotta go figure out what to do with my time. And he realizes that not only did the broom he was pushing get bigger, but the magazine in his back pocket also got bigger. So he takes out a big old porno magazine.
Whoa!
Opens it up, and you see a bunch of naked dicks and boobs and vaginas and butts and nipples and abs. And that's the problem, Ty Cavs. You get an erection. But because your dick is so big, it literally drains all the blood from your body. And when you go brain dead first, then finally your heart stops.
Oh my God. Gruesome. At
and
least
Arlstein
I died.
Comes out and he goes, what's a pun Arlstein would make? It would
be like, well, it wasn't vampire breath this time.
He'd be like, in school they called me a wiener, but this is ridiculous.
yeah, that's better.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I think
like
that was
he was cock blocked.
That was a success.
And it's perfect because this book sucks ass. Bye.
Goodbye.
Well, remember, leave us some sort of questions for the next episode so it's not super boring.
Yes, do that. And while we're still relevant, hit us up on the social meds. You have all the handles. Call CreepsPod on things. Calling All Creep Spot on Insta, I believe. And, we'll see you out there, you little Steinheads. Cute little Steinheads, bringing that back. Okay, bye.
Back. Bye.